Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Attack on Titan. Last time on Attack on Titan we had Hero, where first off we had Levi versus the Beastie Boy, which wasn't exactly versus, more Levi completely annihilates the Beastie Boy, and he had him down with a sword in his mouth. He was not going to kill him because he still had the Titan injection, so if he could save anyone with that, then they could eat the Beastie Boy and become a hybrid. So, unfortunately, though, that gave Delivery Boy enough time to jump in and save the Beastie Boy, and they ran off, and Levi was left with the other Titans to deal with. Meanwhile, Reiner was back up on his feet, and the gang had to deal with that, and also Bertolt. Eren literally got his butt kicked right into the wall, and Armin came up with a plan to defeat Bertolt by basically distracting him while Eren, using ODM gear, went in and cut Bertolt out of the Colossal Titan. However, this seems to have resulted in the death of Armin Arlert. He, at the very least, he has been burned to a crisp. It's pretty horrific, actually. So, we do have the possibility, though, that he could be revived by Levi, but seems like a bit of a stretch, so yeah, we'll just have to see, I guess. But yeah, that is basically that. Oh, also, Hanji's alive, and they use the Thunder Spears to seemingly defeat Bertolt once and for all. So while the scouts have taken severe losses in this fight, it looks like the other side has also now taken some serious hits, and so now, what happens now? We'll just have to find out. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's go ahead and get right into this episode of Attack on Titan. Here we go. Oh, what did I say? What did I say? I said if Armin gets to be a Titan, I'm calling him Krispy Kreme. They sacrificed Erwin for Armin. And honestly, that's a good way of doing it. The man had finally given up on his dream. He was ready to die. He led those troops, those recruits, those young kids straight to hell. You can't bring him back. You can't bring him back once he's led them to hell. Let him go in peace. The first, maybe peaceful moment of his life, when he accepts his death, and you can't bring him back from that. Whereas Armin still has work to do. Armin still has the sea. Oh, man. That is maybe the best episode of Attack on Titan. And I love that there was almost no soundtrack through that entire episode. Like, almost none, you know? They let it be a quiet episode. So, let me dust this out real quick. Alrighty. First, to the commander from hell, Erwin Smith. And then, because with the ascension of Krispy Kreme, with the ascension of Armin to Krispy Kreme, we do also have to take a shot to the one that has to fall for that ascension. To the fat man himself, Bertolt Hoover. Which, honestly, that is something you kind of have to realize, that I don't want to say it's glossed over, but the impact of it isn't what you would have probably expected, you know? Bertolt is dead. Bertolt is dead. Because one of them has to die. Now, one thing I thought of was perhaps instead of one of the big three, they might eat Delivery Boy, because he seems to be, I guess it's unconfirmed if he's a hybrid, but he is intelligent. I would say he probably is a hybrid as well, because he's intelligent. So that's the thing. So I thought maybe they might go that route instead, so that they could keep Bertolt alive, but nope. Bertolt is dead. The Colossal Titan is dead. The first Titan we see in the show, the Colossal Titan, is gone. But I mean, on the other hand too, they kind of had to do that because there's nothing else they could have done, you know? There was no other way to beat him, you know? That honestly may be the best episode of Attack on Titan. And for it to, you know, pretty much only take place in one location. They're just on a rooftop talking. But that was incredible, you know? Let's hop into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is Zeke and Grisha. So, a long time ago, when we were trying to discover the identity of the Beast Titan, you know, originally I said that, the Beast Titan is Erwin's father because they look so similar. That's just a coincidence. As we quickly learned, that was just a coincidence that they look so similar. And then I had the theory, when we couldn't really see his face, I thought, maybe he's Dr. Yeager. Maybe Dr. Yeager is still alive and that's him. But then I thought, no, because his hair is too blonde, you know? His hair is a different color from Dr. Yeager's. And then they established firmly Dr. Yeager is dead. Eren ate him and gained his powers. So that's the thing, you know? That's the thing. But we did say, at the very least, they look very similar. And when we saw Dr. Yeager's Titan form in that flashback when he fought Frieda, his Titan form looked a hell of a lot like the Beast Titan. So I speculated, perhaps they're brothers. And this was before we even knew Zeke's name. You know, we were still just calling him the Beastie Boy. Which, to be fair, we're still calling him the Beastie Boy, but we also call him Zeke sometimes. So, the fact that he knows Dr. Yeager, he knows Grisha, and he knows Eren, and he says, you don't look like your father, and stuff. I'm willing to make my theory. We could... And I feel like this is a stronger theory than the theory about Annie from way back in Season 1. God, we've been doing this a while. I mean, we've been watching this show for about a year now, so... Over a year, actually, at this point. But yeah, like, you know, with Annie, I thought that was, like, the loosest set of things that led me to believe that Lean Jean was Annie. I am going on a somewhat strong theory, like, somewhat sturdy theory, that I think Zeke is going to be revealed to be Eren's, I guess, uncle, you know? I'm going to say it's that, you know? I'm going to say it's that Zeke and Grisha were brothers, so... but yes, he did say, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to save you from this. We don't know what the hell that means, you know? We don't know what that means. Because that's the thing, you know, we've heard that from we've heard that from Zeke, and we've heard that from Rhaina. Rhaina said, "Oh, and we'll save Krista from them," and it's like, well, you don't need to save. Well, first off, it's Historia. Second off, you don't need to save her because she's the queen. You don't need to save someone when they're the queen. Like, she's in charge now, so I don't think you need to save her. Now, the whole thing of, Eren, one day I'll come back and save you. We're not sure what that means, but I don't know. It could be just that, he's going to try to win Eren over to his side, maybe. That could be kind of interesting. Who knows? Maybe Eren takes an Anakin Skywalker, goes to the other side against humanity. I don't know. I mean, Eren hasn't really had a character arc in a while, I don't think. I mean, there's the... Well, okay. His last character arc was really, the finding worth and, saving... Being a savior for humanity. The whole stuff with, him and Historia and Frida and the power and stuff. He did have to go through all that. So, it's only been a little while since that, But yeah, so we're not sure... I mean, it's unconfirmed if Zeke is Grisha's brother or something, or could just be friends. I don't know. But at the very least, I think he does know. I mean, he does know Grisha, so there's that. We don't know what the whole I'm gonna save you thing is, so there's that. We also don't know. What the letter says from Ymir to Historia, which is interesting. Which, I mean, this whole fight, Ymir left with them at the end of season 2, so it's interesting that she just wasn't here. Like, where is Ymir? Like, I don't think they're gonna cut back and she's dead or something. Like, oh, she died for the greater good or something like that, I don't think it's that. I think she's still alive somewhere, but we just don't know. But for some reason, she wasn't a part of this battle, So, she could just be a prisoner somewhere. So, yeah. Don't know. But yeah. So, there's that. Rhaina is still alive. Barely, but he is still alive. So there is that. And then the big thing about this episode is the decision. Who do you save? And at first, they showed, that the shot they had of Levi when it's like, oh, give me the syringe and I can save Armin, and it shows that he's holding back, and his eyes are darkened like in anime. And then he's like, okay, go. So I did notice that moment of hesitation, and I thought, oh, well, maybe, because he doesn't know who all is alive and stuff, but he was contemplating, is it possible that Commander Erwin is still alive, And sure enough, Flock came over with the commander. Good use of Flock in this episode, geez. For a guy who was just sort of the side cat, he was sort of just the crier, and I don't want to say that as a bad thing. I mean, he had every right to be terrified, but but he was the one that was terrified and stuff. But they eventually convinced Marlowe and then Commander Erwin. They did convince him, but still, it's interesting. The use of him was very interesting, But I did like that, the whole thing of. I thought about just killing him, but then I realized that would be a mercy, and we shouldn't know that he needs to live through this hell, which is interesting. And the whole thing of, it's a very tough decision, it is a very tough decision, and Hanji and Levi still understand that, even though as soon as they see that Erwin is alive, their immediate reaction is, okay, we'll save Erwin. But they know that in saving Erwin, there is a big loss for... there is an incredible loss in Armin. They understand that. But they know that they know that they need the commander more, and so it's interesting, this whole, because you can't argue, basically. Even though they were arguing back and forth, it doesn't fully work, because both sides, you cannot change either of their minds, really. Because it's basically a debate of mind versus devil, Mind, it's basically cunning versus insanity, It's the insane, crazy, strange, twisted mind of Commander Erwin versus the rational, logical, brilliant mind of Armin, That is the difference. But I like how they say, how they point out everything that Armin has done. He was the reason they plugged the hole at Trost. He was the reason they found Annie. He, suggested to go to Shiganshina at night to avoid Titans, He found Rhina. He came up with the plan to eliminate Bertolt. So, with all of that, it does make a compelling argument to save Armin. But it really is just... at that point, it's just sort of a question of rank. Because Erwin had the higher rank, yes, you could say that's more experience, and look how he's led us and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it almost basically comes down to rank. The commander versus a soldier, Even if you can go into this whole debate of mind versus devil, it's the commander versus our friend, So, that was just very, very interesting. And I like, actually, though, I said, well, neither side, you can't really change their mind. That said, it did technically happen on both sides, because I do like that Hanji kind of convinced Mikasa, at least, she stopped struggling about it, And when she said, at some point you do have to let these people go, Which is interesting, how she says this. You have to let these people go. So many people die. There's so many people I wish I could bring back. Hundreds, Hundreds, maybe even thousands. But at a point, you have to remember that you have to know they sacrificed themselves for you. They did this, so you could keep going. You have to let go and move on. And in hindsight, that is hilarious. Well, hilarious. It's ironic, really, because she's giving this whole thing. She's telling this whole thing about letting go, but her, Levi, and Floch are not letting go of the commander. They are not letting him go. And actually, for a little bit, I was kind of conflicted. I was like, I don't know who they're going to bring back. Like, I was honestly like, they might actually bring back Commander Erwin. And then, in the back of my mind, I was like, shit, I'm going to have to come up with a Titan name for him. And I was like, the Commander? I don't know, a Sky High reference? Like, no, that doesn't work. It's not as good as Krispy Kreme. But then I didn't have to worry about that anyway. But yeah, honestly, it is really good that I was sitting here I honestly don't know who they're going to inject. I really didn't know, I sat there it might be Erwin. They may bring back Erwin. And I like, what Levi was thinking of, I've heard enough of, these dreams, basically. It's the dream of the sea and the dream to find the cellar and stuff. And he thinks back to Kenny's words of, hey, we all have something, we're all drunk on something to get us through. We all have that thing that we're a slave to. And that is it for both of them, But he's tired of hearing it, and he's like, oh, I'm done, no more of that. But that's exactly it. Is that he's like, enough of these dreams. Go lead those troops into hell. And Erwin did. He gave up on that dream and led those troops straight into hell. And they were going to bring him back, and that is why Erwin rejected it. He rejected the injection. Because he said, he's done. that's not right to bring him back, you know? And I like how they say, I told him to give up on his dream and go straight to hell. And we were about to bring him back to war. The man was finally going to rest. After everything that had happened, the man was going to finally be at peace. Like, without that dream bothering him, he could finally die in peace. And we were about to take that away from him, So, I mean, if anything, it's a character arc for Commander Erwin, that he had this obsession with finding the cellar and proving his father right, but finally he let go of that. Who knows what would have happened if he had found, his dream was fulfilled, then what happens? Would he have died peacefully? We don't know. But here he is finally, he let go of it. It's no longer part of, he just needs to do what's right. And he led those troops into hell. And he needs to go to hell. He's like, I'm done. I can die peacefully, but that boy still has a dream. He needs to come back. And so we get Krispy Kreme. The enemy is now down one Titan, and their biggest Titan too. The Bertolt is gone. The Colossal Titan is gone. The enemy has one less hybrid. Meanwhile, the Scouts finally have another Titan. It's not just Eren and all the Scouts. It is Eren, Armin, and all of the Scouts. Armin has a lot of catching up to do. He has a lot of training that he needs to go through now. Oh, I would love a training or like a sparring match between Bufford and Krispy Kreme. Bufford and Krispy Kreme! Oh, man. So, I can't wait to see it because, all we saw was his base, basically beast, well, not beast, I can't say beast, but his monstrous Titan form, where it was funny. It did actually look like him, just kind of skinny. So we'll have to see what he turns into now that he has absorbed Bertolt's powers. I'm curious if that will make him like somewhat of a colossal Titan as well. I don't think that would, because I mean you can look at like maybe he'll absorb the steam power though. Like maybe that'll be his thing. That'd be kind of cool. Which would differentiate him from Eren in terms of powers. But one thing is, when we saw Dr. Jaeger's Titan form in a flashback, he looked very much like the Beast Titan. Like, he was very furry and stuff. But then, when Eren becomes Bufford, he doesn't look like that, So, I don't think that Armin is now going to be the next Colossal Titan. But perhaps he can, perhaps they can work with the steam. Like, that would be, because that's the unique thing about, well, other than the height, definitely, but that is sort of one of the unique powers of the Colossal Titan. So I'd be curious, I'm very curious how Krispy Kreme will work. I hope you guys also enjoy the name Krispy Kreme. I enjoy it. I feel like it's perfect for Armin too. Like, it's something nice and sweet, but also it's ironic because crispy, as in he burned to a crisp before he became a Titan. So yeah, Krispy Kreme. Armin Arlert. So, actually, that means we have to go through them all again. So, we have Eren Yeager, also known as Bufford Sea Titan. We have Annie Leonhardt, also known as Lean Jean. We had Bertolt Hoover, also known as the Colossal Titan, also known as Fat Man. We have Rhina Brown. Is it Brown or is it Browse? No, that's Sasha's name, isn't it? Rhina, also known as the Armored Titan, also known as Little Boy. Who else is there? We have Zeke, also known as the Beast Titan, also known as the Beastie Boy. I guess we should say like Annie Leonhardt, also known as the Female Titan, also known as whatever. I never gave Frida a name. Oh well. Who the fuck else? We have Pink Floyd's The Wall. You remember that from the end of season 1 where I was like, oh, there's a Titan in the wall. I'll call him Pink Floyd's The Wall. We have Delivery Boy. I almost forgot about him. Oh, duh. We have Ymir, also known as Joe. Is that it? I guess that's it, other than, obviously, Armin Arlert, also known as Krispy Kreme. This has been maybe one of my favorite things about these Attack on Titan reactions, is just naming all the Titans. And that was just a thing, before we even knew that Eren was a Titan, I was just like, oh, we have our little Titan friend, who's beating up all the other Titans. And I was like, I'm going to give him a name. I'm going to call him Buffered Sea Titan. And then it was like, oh, it's Eren. Eren is Buffered Sea Titan. And then when we got the female Titan, I was like, okay, I got to give her a name. And that's when I took like an entire episode to come up with Lean Jean, But I love that it's just something I do now. And of course, at the beginning, I guess even before Buffered, we had Fat Man and Little Boy, because I wasn't able to remember Colossal and Armored Titans yet. So I just called them Fat Man and Little Boy. So it's honestly been one of my favorite things, is saying all these names, So it's so much fun. But yes, now we have Krispy Kreme, as we have sacrificed Commander Erwin, and also technically sacrificed Bertolt too. So yeah. That is basically that. Where we're going next time, goodness me, I do not know. We should have 4? Is it 4? No, it's 4. Because we only have 22 episodes. This is episode 18. So we have 4 episodes left of this season before we move on into the final season, which is pretty crazy. Although I do know that the final season is taking a break right now, and they're going to wrap up in 2022. So I think we're actually going to catch up to the halfway point of season 4, and then we'll have to take a break until 2022. At which point, I actually have an idea. Perhaps, I should say perhaps, I shouldn't say anything definite, but perhaps we will be reacting to the Attack on Titan OVAs, and perhaps, if we still have time, maybe Attack on Titan Junior High, because I've been very curious about that, because that seems like the weirdest thing to make for Attack on Titan. So, but we'll get there when we get there. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Attack on Titan reactions, there is a playlist on screen. There's also another video you can go check out if you want to go check out another video. There's a subscribe button, there's a Patreon button, there's also links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.